If you want to learn to earn more money than Trump and vanish faster than the Epstein list, you've come to the right channel. I've pulled over 45,000 gold from the Steamvault since launch, and today I'm going to show you how to do the same. You're not just going to be able to buy anything you ever wanted, you're going to be able to buy everything you ever wanted. A lot of people have suffered with bad raid loot RNG this time around, and brother, I am one of them. But having access to this gold farm has allowed me to maintain respectable parses while not being in a parsing guild, and keeping those coffers stocked with consumables so you can pump through the raids every week to the best of your ability. You're watching the Rogue's Diary, and this is the update to my complete Steamvault's stealth farming guide. For chest number 1, the most important aspect of the pull is to ensure that the elementals are in specific positions. Don't worry about it too much for now, I'll show you how to control them later in the video. Pull with throw, trinket, evasion and sprint, making sure to jump and turn in midair so you don't get dazed. Focus on the basics of the pull for now, I'll show you how to get that trinket later. Blind, and sometimes we need to gouge or crippling him, but not this time. Step through and turn, and into the river. We're using Elixir of Water Walking here, and we're going to run ahead and relax in this corner for about 10 seconds or so. In my last video, I showed you how to get the first 5 chests with engineering, but Trill was in here at the same time, making an insane video showing us how to do it without. I combined the methods of Trill, my own, and the rogues in the community to make this video. Trill, like many other rogues, uses the Azure Silk Belt. You can also use the swim speed potion, but the Elixir of Water Walking really is BIS. It allows us to sprint, as well as get to certain safe spots and use swiftness potions. It is by far the best way to do this farm. You can get them as a random reward from the fishing competition on a Sunday, or buy them from the auction house. If you are going to buy them, try to get them midweek when the prices have dipped. This method eliminates the 2 main problems that we had with this pull: mobs rushing down this ramp, or being back at the chest or returning to the chest too quickly for you to open it. Sometimes you'll get hit from below here, but it's usually only one mob that's ahead of the pack. We're using a swiftness potion here, but in other pulls, in this position, I'm going to show you a variety of ways to do it. Blind is on cooldown, so we're going to gouge, one of many options, and then we're going to target this frog and shadow step. These patrolling the GA can sometimes be at the frog, or close enough to the frog that if you step, they're going to pull, and we'll have a look at that later in the video. Preparation is still on cooldown, so we can't get an extra sprint in. We want to be mindful of these patrols, and distract if we can. If they're in the way, there's other methods we can use, and again, you'll see that later in the video. Try to squeeze through, but if you can't, vanish and get to the chest. Be careful of the Boglords. Don't move too far left or right, especially when you're in stealth. They can actually see you from further away if you're in stealth than they can if you're unstealth. And that's chest number 1. Chest number 2 is much easier. Also, chest number 1 is by far the most difficult pull. Skip it if it's frustrating for you, and just get the others. We sap this target, and we want to wait for the pack in the tunnel to be moving in the other direction, around about where they are now. When we start the pull, we're resapping, and we're going to move down, mindful of the elementals, and position up against this metal structure on the left. But make sure you've lost these mobs working on it, or you might scuff it and get dazed. We pull with throw, and you'll see now why it's important to wait for the patrols to be in a particular position in the tunnel. Trinket, evasion and sprint. Then we're going to blind, and you should turn and step. We got a little lucky here that we didn't get dazed. I'll show you in a future pull a better way to do it. Alright, let's have a look at dodge rating and how that works. 31.3% dodge. We equipped the Felsteel long blades, and now we're up to 34.3. So 52 agility is 3% dodge. The Bloodfang set also gives dodge on the shoulders, boots, and the classic enchant on the head and legs. We get 50% dodge from evasion and another 10% from our trinket. So when we pop our macro, we have almost 95% dodge rating, and we don't take a single hit from these guys. If you're lucky enough to have Morrow's pocket watch from Karazhan, you're going to get up to 100%. Or you can stack agility pieces so you can get up to 100% dodge that way. All of you seasoned rogues will know this already, but if there's any new rogues or people learning farming or rogue in general, you want to be facing mobs when you have your evasion and your dodge trinkets up. So we're back at the ramp and we're going to hit a distract. We wait 10 seconds earlier in the pull because we want the mobs to catch up, but also to time these Naga so we can squeeze through. We have a prep here and we're going to hit it so we can get our sprint off. Unfortunately, it doesn't affect blind, but we have so many tricks. Now we tried to shiv and cripple, but it missed. So we just turned and kept going. Frog step. And unfortunately, I fat fingered and killed him. Having a look at our cooldowns, we've got distract up, we've got blind, but it's not much good to us against the Ellies. We don't have a prep. We can swiftness potion if we want to, but we're good here. Vanish. Just be careful of those guys. And click the chest. All of the tips, tricks, techniques that you're going to learn here, you can apply to future farms. Chest number 3. If you want to see the engineering versions of these pulls, you can watch my last video. And the BIS strategy is actually to combine engineering with non-engineering, depending on the chest and whether it's locked or not. So we distracted that pack of Naga early because we know the timing of the patrols and we want those Ellies to be out of the way, but we also want the Naga in the tunnel to be in the right position, as close to the top pack as possible, so we can step through both of the packs and hopefully not take any damage. You have to be patient with the water Ellies because they can social pull, and if I didn't use my distract earlier to control the Naga in the tunnel, I would have used it on that right pack to smooth things out. And it's a blind. And we're looking good on positioning here. Macro, trinket, and evasion. Turn, and we've targeted her so we can step even if we're not facing her. And this is useful if you're out of range and you need to backpedal a little bit while facing those mobs. We're going to use water walking again, of course, and wait for 10 seconds. I want to give a massive thank you to the guys who shared the water walking tech with me, Cato and Richard Pictures. It's because of you guys that this farm got so much better, and there's many more examples of innovations, tips and tricks that the community has shared coming later in the video. I buy them when they're under a gold, but if I'm really stuck, I'll actually buy them if they're over that. Just a reminder, again, the fishing competition is on Sunday, so aim to buy these midweek, Wednesday, Thursday. That's usually when the price is lowest. I don't actually have this character up with his fishing, so I don't do it. I really should, but when you make this much money, you don't really have to worry about that. I don't really need to distract here, but it's always good practice to do it. If he's a little bit early and he turns while you're running, he can aggro pull these guys days, so just get in the habit of distracting. Peeling left here because we're waiting for blind to come off. When you blind the first guy in the tunnel, you'll usually be able to blind this guy again. We sprinted, of course, quick frog step, and we didn't kill him this time. This video was supposed to be released about a week before it actually was, but every single day, new innovations, new strategies, new insights, and it just kept getting updated, and it's still getting updated, but if I waited, it would never be released. I'm gonna hit our vanish here, and it's really, really important that you pick up these gloves. They're super cheap in the auction house, and they give you +5 lockpicking, which is going to reduce the failures you get on chests. Chest number 4. Some nuanced differences, but very similar to the last one. Mindful of our patrols, pre-sapping, stepping through. We're going to use our tunnel time to have a look at a few different things outside of the farm. I'm going to show you how much money I made from one of my bigger batches and a few other things. Mindful of the Ellies, mindful of the Naga on the right. Blind. If your blind misses, you can gouge him, cripple him, 1 point kidney shot. We have tricks. Again, really should have turned here. Step through. We made it anyway. Okay, I'm going to show you where to get this trinket. It's from the quest Voidwalkers Gone Wild in Hellfire Peninsula, and big shout out to Samwise Gamgee, who hit me with this beautiful little piece of knowledge, which increases our dodge by 10% and allows us to move through this farm in a very streamlined way. It's horde only, so you're going to have to find other options if you're playing on the Alliance. On the bottom left here, sped this up by I think 600%, because it took about 5 minutes to record this. Apologies for the chat overlay, but this is all from Steamvault, and the money that you can make from disenchanting the greens is insane. We're going to get into that. I'm going to break it down. I also have enchanting macros to share with you, so you can easily level up an enchanting alt, and we're going to have a look at the items that you definitely don't want to disenchant and save for later. That's coming up. I suggest you go and watch my first video. There's a full breakdown of chest loot, things like that. Again, we're peeling left here. Our blind's coming off in 2, 1. There we go. Sprint, blind, find our frog. If he's a little bit too far away, which can happen, you can either wait for him to jump back, gouge or cripple those 2 mobs. It's not the end of the world. If there's only 2 of them on you, you may just want to run around the corner. You are going to pull the 3-pack at the end of the bridge, and then you can step to the frog. Sometimes you'll have to do that. Don't really have to distract here. We're just showing you your toolkit's always there. Whatever's off cooldown, use it if it's useful. Mindful of this guy working away here, always behind this lost line and the back behind. I want to show you a really cool variation that opens up a whole new world of strategy, where we sap a mob to keep it in place, so we can either step to it or pull it and link. Slows showed me his variation. He's on the Discord. I died so many times trying this, and I wanted to get this video out, so I had to think about it, and I came up with my own method, which is based on his foundational technique. Find this white spot, and then just back up ever so slightly, and you're aiming for this spot. Then we're going to pull her and chain the rest. He does it by pulling the below mobs, running across here, jumping up while in combat, pop CDs, sprint the ledge, and then stepping back to her to get the chest, which is very difficult and very technical, but it guarantees the pull. With this method, sometimes they won't pull, but I just don't have time to master his. I needed to get the video out. So we hit our evasion and trinket macro, and we're going to cloak of shadows as well, and then we're going to sprint, jump across, vanish, and pop the chest. This is another great example of just how many S-tier rogues there are out there with really creative approaches. But when we combine them all together, we can push this class beyond what anyone thought was possible and develop farms 20 years later that are pushing the gold max through the roof. A lot of these rogues have joined the Discord and are sharing that information. Whether you're a new rogue or a seasoned veteran, it's a great place to be. We currently have something of a lockbox and chest loot competition. At the moment, Giuseppe is in the lead with this banger Living Ruby Noble Topaz chest. We have Lucasso underneath, who got the same but slightly less raw gold and a worse scroll. So Giuseppe's still in front. However, look at this. Double Dawnstone from a chest, which means we can get a double ruby chest. Nobody's got it yet. Maybe you can be the first. So if you want to join the Discord, it's a great place to be. I'll leave the link below, and do as you will. I also want to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you who watched my first video. We're almost at 2K subscribers, and I've given myself 1 year, no job, moved to Southeast Asia, and I'm going to do everything I can to grow this community and make the impossible possible. That is my mission, and I've got so many secrets to share with you guys. So if you want to sub it up or like the video, and if you don't, that's okay too. This is all free information, so it's going to be here for you either way. Let's get back to the farm. Sometimes these guys will pull a little earlier and the second mob will close the distance on you. So even though I blind him, I have to gouge the other one here. You can cripple them. Again, we have tricks. Frog step and down. Now I want to talk about gold per hour When I released the original video, ore prices were a lot higher. Most people have finished their professions by now. Don't worry about this. Peaks and troughs are normal in economies. These materials will continue to steadily increase in price as the expansion continues. Everything in this farm is going to remain easily sellable, and this will continue to be the best gold farm for the entire expansion. Now let's move on to the impossible mine, the one guarded by the Boglord. We're going to use Distract here, control these patrols. As I mentioned earlier in the video, we want them in specific positions. We want X to be where he is around now, but moving in the other direction, while we want Skull to be down at this wall. This means when we pull patrols and we run through, the tail end of the mobs won't pull the elementals. We sapped the engineer just so we have one less melee coming in that can daze us, but this might not actually be a good idea if you're learning this pull, because if you don't have your timing right and he comes out of sap, he can pull the Ellies. Pulling with throw, Trinket macro, sprint, jump and spin so we don't get dazed. We have a prep here, and I recommend not trying this pull without it. We didn't need to gouge or cripple here, but our sprint came off a little early, so if you want to wait on sprint until after you jump through the first pack, that's also an option. Now I mentioned earlier that there are some items that you do not want to disenchant. They're the protection items. Keep all of them in your bank. For certain raid bosses in various phases, all of these will be useful and they'll skyrocket in price. You can use item restoration if you deleted or sold any of these. The main reason you want to disenchant your greens is because you get more money than vendoring them. I have always made more money and sometimes a huge amount more, with the added bonus that the materials always instantly sell on the auction house. Check out this enchanting leveling macro. You have your enchanting window open with the selected enchant, you mouse over the item, push button 1, push button 2 and repeat. It is the best enchanting macro for leveling. It's so smooth, it's so fast. You need an alt at level 35 and that alt can learn enchanting to 300. You only need 275 to disenchant the greens and the blues that you get out of here. Let me show you how quickly your Steamvault's loot is going to sell. We have one item here, 39 gold. We're going to pop up our shards, we're going to pop up our ore, all our different bits and bobs here, and we're going to sell it. By the time we've finished listing our items, we'll usually have sold more than half. Keep your corium ore in the bank. Save it for phase 5. It's going to skyrocket. I'm going to switch back to the pull here for a minute. Keep an eye on the elementals, see where they are. You may need to vanish early if they're in a bad spot, but as soon as you move through them and it's safe, come out of stealth as quickly as possible so you can get to that mine. We're going to frog step here, head for the mine, and keep an eye behind us. And one more thank you to Trill for his video. Okay, we're done listing, and there we go. 277 listed, 314 sold. Now the Boglord is on the way back. Luckily this was a 3-tap mine, so we got it all. We re-stealth and come to the safe spot. I'm going to show you why you want to combine Engi and non-Engi in this dungeon. It makes certain pulls so much easier. We're going to use the belt here, which gives us a shield and allows us to never get dazed. The hardest part of this pull is moving through these first packs and getting to the water. Once we're in the water, it's pretty simple. But we can extend the amount of time we have at the mine and or chest by using our boots, our prep, our swiftness potion. That's going to allow us to get a chest and a mine at the same time. If you're wondering which chests you should Engi or non-Engi, if they're chests 1 to 5 and they're unlocked, go with the Engi pulls from my first video. You're going to be able to do them way quicker and you're guaranteed to crack the chest. Then we can spend more time pickpocketing, which we'll cover in a minute. If the chests are locked and you don't have engineering, just do the non-Engi pulls obviously. If you have engineering, you're free to combine the engineering tricks you have to make the pulls smoother, faster, and get more time at the chest. We popped a swiftness potion here because once we're sure that the mobs are close enough to us that they're not going to repath and come around the other way, we can start to create as much distance as possible. So we prep here so that we can sprint again. It's a good job we did, because our timing was a little off this time, and that Naga we have to wait for him. We're gonna pop sprint soon, and unfortunately prep doesn't affect blind, so we're gonna gouge this mob. Now, we got lucky here. We could have got dazed there. If you do, shiv to cripple and spend the point on a kidney shot while daze comes off. Frog step, and now we're going to hit our boots. But as you're about to see, unfortunately, this Ellie patrol is in a really bad spot, so we can't get that chest. What we are going to do is move forward as much as we can and then vanish and head for the mine. I could have frog stepped here, but I forgot about it. It's a real shame about those Ellies, because you're going to see here, we had more than enough time after getting the mine. We could have got the chest first and still had time to come and get this mine. But honestly, it's always nice to have something you can improve on, because when you get those things, you get that satisfaction, and it keeps the farm fresh and exciting because you keep scaling up and you're aware that you're getting better at your class while also making more money than you know what to do with. Back into the safe spot and we're all good. So we've changed our method. From the first video, we always pull the bridge guards and the patrol now. After you throw first, move through the global before you throw again, and then frog step. Even if he's not facing the right direction, you want that speed boost. Try and aim for the corner, slide down, so that you're out of loss of the casters. And just make sure that you don't go too far to the left around that corner too soon, because they can actually start pathing over the bridge there and coming down to meet you on the way up. Which is the same reason why we wait for 10 seconds on the earlier pulls as well. But if you want to test it out for yourself, just run across that line and you'll see them path over the bridge in real time. Now I'm going to say something pretty controversial, but I think that Rogue is the most slept on class in TBC. I'll probably make a video why Rogue is the best class in TBC Phase 1. But when you do this farm, and you can buy Blink Strike straight away, all your pre-raid BIS, gems, enchants, double mongoose as soon as somebody gets it, you can par so high. I've been top DPS on Maggie, Gruul, and half the fights in Karazhan. The ability to gear up really quickly and have an amazing weapon and really good gear for the first week of raid release allows you to get really nice parses and beat a lot of the other meta classes. Now I know, if you have people that have loads of money in meta classes, parsing guilds, sure they're going to beat you, but you can beat most of the player base no problem. And in heroics, we can dominate. Blade Flurry is incredible for DPS, but we're actually a silent support class as well. We can turn our eviscerates into kidney shots. We can open with cheap shot or a gouge if we're out of stealth. We can sap, we can blind, and we can distract patrols so that they don't pull into our pack when they're moving toward us. If you know how to play this class well, you can mitigate so much incoming damage on the tank, which eases up the healer and makes the runs so smooth. Now I'm going to show you some old tech that's still amazing. Thank you so much to Chef Skill, who reminded me about the gnomish cloaking device. This basically is like a free vanish, but it works more like mage's invisibility, but you can do it in combat and re-stealth. It's a 1 hour cooldown, so you have 3 vanishes if you need it for some real tricky stuff. Or if your vanish is on cooldown and so is your prep, you can pop this on and do what you need to do. One more little trick here. You can actually step through and not pull this Nagam. There are some situations where you might want to do this. You definitely don't want to do it if you need to frog step. Non-Engi pulls 1 to 5. And honestly, it feels pretty good if you can pull this off without distracting. I want to give a massive thank you to Samwise, Dieback, Chef Skill, and Big Spud. My first subscribers on Twitch. It was an amazing feeling to have you guys subscribe to me. I just monetized the channel, and to have this level of support already is incredible. You have my sincere gratitude. The first 4 of the Thieves Guild. So you know these pulls pretty well by now. There is a step target by this one, which you can use. You can also open these chests with frost grenades and Engi pulls in this area, but I'm not going to add it, or I'll be here forever, editing until the grave. Chest 8, we pre-sap, and we pull. Mindfake, aka Sexy Fiend, showed me this unreal method. And we can use this on locked chests because we get 2 shots at the chest. It's a quick blind and a sprint. With a shadow step, we vanish and open. And he was the one who told me that it's the initial interaction with the chest that pulls the mob. So even if you fail the first attempt, if you click it before he returns, you can still open it. If your blind misses on this pull, don't worry. Gouge or cripple. Even if you don't have your sprint, you can still shadow step and get back to it. Now the initial interaction with the chest is what pulls the mob, but you can continue to open the chest as long as you're lost. On learning this logic, I applied it to develop this corner gouge strat. Mind Fake aka Sexy Beast method is the best for locked chests. So it's a gouge, vanish, click, and you can still open it without pulling aggro. I thought that was the best it could get until CC auto styling came in with this beautiful tip. Get into your lost position, click, vanish, and re-click before they return to position. I had 400 MS and still got this to work. Now we're going to move on to pickpocketing. Spell hit, Spirit Shard Vendor Ring, this Cenarian Exalted, Scryer's Blood Gem, and this robe that you're going to find in chests here. This gives me 95 spell hit rating. Spell hit rating lowers pickpocket resist chance. I used this tech back in pre-patch when I found World First Spine Sever and proved that you could get TBC epics in the pre-patch. One of the most common pieces of feedback was, I can't find anything online about spell hit. This is bullshit, blah blah blah. So I'm including this 5-minute section where we pick this mob in spell hit gear and don't get a single resist. You will still get resists. There's a flat 1% chance once you hit cap. You could come in here in this gear and get a resist in the first 10. That's how RNG works. But I'm going to switch out of the spell hit gear into our Bloodfang, and I'm going to show you how quickly you get resists in this set. There's a working theory for spell hit cap on the Rogues Diary Discord, but my golden rule is you never know until you test, and I don't know if this spell, being such a strange classification, is different. So you can see we're getting resists almost immediately with no spell hit. Once you've got the farm down and you're hitting lockout, you can start adding pickpocket to increase your gold per hour. This is Slow's entry-level pickpocket strat. Pick these first 3 packs. If you get a resist, you can always run out instead of wasting a vanish. And at the end of the run, you can pick those first 3 packs again, as their pockets will have respawned. Once you get pro, you can pick everything using save spots, which I'll show you soon. Once you get to the slave tunnel, about halfway through your run, you want to pick all of these slaves. They can drop gems. Always sap your target and make sure that the Naga patrolling aren't close when you do pick, in case you get a resist. We sap because when you get a resist, it won't pull the other mobs. Watch this. So we got our resist, but because he's sapped, he hasn't pulled to us. Now I had a decision to make here. I didn't want him to come out of sap and pull those Naga. These slaves hit pretty hard and they have a lot of health. You can kill them, but this is the perfect opportunity to show you the first safe spot. So we gouge him, we could blind him, cripple, whatever. We've got our water walking up, and you want this for this safe spot. Trinket and evasion before you go into the wall, and he's going to telly on top of us. As soon as he does, you want to hop backwards, and he or any other mobs that tellied will remain stuck in the wall, and you'll drop combat. I'll show you again how this is used on a different pack. I came out of stealth a little bit too early, but something interesting happens on this one. The groups actually split. I haven't tested if this happens with this pack every time, but maybe you can leave it in the comments if you have. So we hit our macro, and the slave tellies to us, but the Naga don't. However, we still manage to drop combat. I have pulled other packs that split and we didn't drop combat, so testing anti-boost and how it works is something we're all going to have to do together to push this farm even further. In the first video, I showed you that you can drop combat on these gnomes by running into the corner, but you can also just drop down here and do the same. They're linked to that area, so as long as you go far enough, you'll drop combat. Big thank you to Judgy Jake for this little tip. If I can target one quickly in the water, I will. Otherwise, I'll go up and around because it can take a while to target one. This is safe spot number 2. And if you keep hopping up and down, they'll be stuck in their positions and reset in 10 seconds. This spot allows you to do a lot of pickpocketing in this area as well, but I'm not going to cover that in this video. If you know more safe spots in the dungeon, please share them. There's one more that I know, but it's inconsistent, so I don't want to put it in the video. There's one more comment that I want to share about lesser invisibility potion. Have a little look and see how this works. You can literally run straight through mobs. I haven't used this in this dungeon, but I did use them to great effect when farming Crusader enchants from level 57, 8 and 9 mobs while I was level 50 capped in SOD. Thank you Zulu for the reminder. Maybe some other rogues can find a creative way to use it. This farm is still under development, and there's so much that I wanted to add that I just didn't have time. If you want the latest and greatest, you can check out the stream. And thank you all for watching The Rogue's Diary.